How many of you were stoned in school? Okay. How many of you were stoned in front of your parents and your parents didn't even know it? Okay. All right. How many of you sold drugs in school? How many of you sold drugs to kids younger than you were? All right. So all kids then who use drugs sell drugs. True? Okay, good. How many of you girls, when you were babysitting and had the responsibility of other people's children and invited people over to the house where you were babysitting and got stoned? All right? That's quite a number, right?
A seed of hope. A special presentation of WTVJ News.
How many of you used drugs, bought drugs, or sold drugs to a school teacher? That's a lot. How many of you committed crimes that you were never caught for? All right, let's get into some specific crimes now. Crimes like breaking and entering, forgery, purse snatching. All right. How about armed robbery? Okay. Good. How many of you carried a knife or a gun? How many of you actually had an occasion to use a knife or a gun? Okay. How many of you come from very poor families? How many come from very rich families? How many come from middle-class families?
Most of these kids are not hardcore drug addicts. Some of them, about 30%, did have the habit, many requiring $200 a day or more to keep them in heroin, cocaine, morphine, or other opiates. But the majority of them used lesser stuff, taking a puff, popping a pill, sneaking it, and lying about it behind the backs of their parents and teachers since the time they were preteens. They represent the type of adolescent drug problem that's been sweeping this nation in epidemic proportions. A couple of years ago, the average druggie began experimenting while a junior in high school. But today, he starts as a 6th or 7th grader. Chances are the drug user would remain undetected, he by design, the parents of the drug user by desire, except for the fact that he wanders into home or school one day in a drunken-like stupor or simply walks into a wall. Through the courts or a teacher or a friend of a friend, parents find this place. It's new, started a mere 2 years ago. It's called The Seed. It's located in Fort Lauderdale, and it's unlike anything you've ever seen. A look at how it works and who works it right after this.
Most of you get onto drugs, most of you, I guess almost all of you, because of acceptance, peer pressure, right? Because you wanted to imitate the older kids, right? You wanted to be accepted by them. What do they say to a chick, for instance, when they want to turn a chick on, right? Yeah.
The founder and director of The Seed is Art Barker. He has no credentials to speak of. He was a stand-up comedian in a nightclub at one time, and during that career became an alcoholic. Art Barker, at 47, is not a psychologist, but he adapted from the Alcoholics Anonymous program he entered 11 years ago a new hope for an entire generation of youngsters destined to spend their formative years caught up in a nationwide drug craze. Art Barker is a fanatic about his rehabilitation program that works in an age when others have failed. Barker boasts that 90% of his so-called seedlings go straight, while other programs have only an 8% success rate and lie about having 15. One of the things that separates the Seed from other rehab houses is the enormous number of persons in the program all at the same time. There are more than 800 right now, plus another 800 on the outside who have graduated from the Seed. When a youngster is placed under Barker's care, his life changes drastically. He must remain absolutely silent for the first 3 days while he listens to those around him talk about how they were liberated from their drug prisons. The new kid finds out quickly that his own problems are not unique. In addition to attending these rap sessions from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. every day for a minimum of 2 weeks, the new kid is placed in a foster home with couples whose own children have been through the Seed program.
Most of these kids portray a role in the outside world. And to be accepted by their friends out there, they have to be real cool or real tough or whatever else it is. And in here, they suddenly learn they can be themselves and be loved for being themselves. And that's the most important thing that can happen to a kid here. That's one of the most important things. Dr. Eric Byrne once wrote a book called Games People Play. And he said, when you learn the games you're playing, and you don't have to play these games anymore, that means you're aware. And that's what's happening to these kids. They become aware. This is the only kind of a program that's going to work for these kids. They got onto drugs because of peer pressure. They're getting off drugs, peer pressure. When we have the phenomenal amount of kids that are using drugs today, 70 to 85% in the school system, you can't tell me that all of those kids have deep-rooted psychological problems. That's insane. Now, a small percentage do. Those that do have deep-rooted psychological problems, we refer to psychiatrists. We don't make Protestants or Catholics or Jews of these kids, but we teach them to believe in God, a God of their own understanding. Most of them go back eventually to their own church, which is great. That's a beginning. For instance, we teach spirituality, maybe, not religion. There's a big difference. Let's take something else. Most of the things that we're teaching here, you're trying to teach the kids in the school systems, you're trying to teach them in church. We're able to do it here because of the phenomenal peer pressure that we have going for us. Our kids won't listen to a teacher today. They won't listen to a minister. They won't listen to a judge, a policeman. But they have to listen to their own peers.
Do anything for myself. I wanted everybody to tell me what I was doing wrong.
This is the day rap session, and this is where Barker applies peer pressure on newcomers who are not yet sure they even want to be off drugs. On this particular day, Barker's teenage staff singled out a 16-year-old accused felon named Barry. The boy thought the Seed was a joke, but after 1 hour, the staff changed his mind and his attitude.
Why do you like to have everybody tell you what to do and have everybody make your decisions for you? You're not an invalid, right? We're not going to lead you through getting straight. You're going to get straight by yourself, on your own. You're going to put forth some effort. So why do you like to have everybody pat you on the back and tell you that you're doing so good and make all your decisions for you? Why do you do these? Why do you play this game? Start working towards becoming a man. Make some of your own decisions. And the first one you got to make is that you want to get straight. Hey, it's life or death, Barry. It's not, well, yes, maybe, or no, or if, in, or but. It's I want to get straight or I don't. Hey, this is your life. It's not just little Mickey Mouse games anymore. If you don't make it here, where do you think you are going to make it? Or do you think you will? You think you'll make it if you go back out there? No. Why? You don't know? Who knows why he wouldn't make it if he went back out there? Well, Barry, you're nothing but a selfish little kid right now. You haven't started growing up. You haven't done the first thing to help yourself. You sit in a group all day, make jokes, you laugh, stick your head down between your legs. Hey, when are you going to start growing up? You're a little kid. You're a weak little boy. Hey, it's about time you stop being a little boy. Start growing up. You can do it right now. You can start right now. Are you going to stick a spike in your arm and forget all about it? Huh? Are you going to go to the highest building and jump off it? Huh, Barry? Because you're too weak, you can't do things on your own? You can't do the right decisions on your own?
What's going to happen, Barry? What's really going to happen to you if you don't change? What's going to happen if you're still going to be the weak little boy?
Nobody cares a shit about you. The big guys you try and play up to, you try and come here for. The big girls you try and play games for. Hey man, they don't like you worth shit. They step all over you the first chance they got. Anything it'll take. Your emotions, everything. When you haven't got nothing left, then where do you go, Barry? Then where do you go?
Sandy.
Barry, you know, you're exactly like me when I came in here. I had jail hanging over my head. I didn't have anything out there, yet I tried to make everything out there so cool and so neat. And I tried to make concerts cool, and I tried to make traveling cool. But nothing's out there for you, Barry. What do you really have out there that's so cool and so great? How are you ever going to make it out there? You can't even stand up on your own 2 feet and do anything. What do you have? You have jail. That's what you have. So what are you sitting around here like a little baby doing nothing? You're as selfish as I was when I came in here. You know that? And you're just as much a baby.
Jerry, how far do you think you're going to make it in life, Barry? Constantly thinking of yourself as a cripple. Thinking of yourself as you're never going to do anything. You can't accomplish anything. With such a negative attitude. How far do you think you're going to make it? Or what are you going to make out of yourself? What are you going to be the rest of your life, Barry? A sissy?
Are you afraid you're going to make something with yourself? Are you afraid of the good life? Are you afraid of doing everything right for a change? Are you afraid of going to college and making something out of yourself instead of serving all that time you've got hanging over your head? Hey, man, look at what you've got here. Look what everybody else here has. Look what I'm gonna be. Because I got up off my ass and did something. Hey, I don't have to stick a needle in my arm anymore. I'm gonna be a psychologist and I'm gonna help people like you. And I'm gonna be something and people are gonna look up to me. Are you afraid of that, Barry? Are you afraid you're gonna be happy? And you're gonna take your share of busting your ass because everybody else is doing it. And you're gonna get something out of it. It's not that you're going to work and nothing's going to happen. You're going to become a man. Look at me, man. I thought I was the world's biggest failure. I couldn't do anything. I was a failure. But I'm doing something now, and I feel good, damn it. It's good to be alive.
Why? You want to get straight, why?
You sounded like the way I was.
What don't you like about it, Barry?
I wasn't really happy. I never really had anything out there. Nobody really gave a damn about me.
You want to be loved?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I love you. Everybody here loves you. But most important, start loving yourself. Start loving yourself. Start putting your life together. I want you to make you the most important thing in this world. I want you to become a superior human being in every way, shape, or form. I want you to reach out and help other people. You're learning your lessons now. You're really putting it right for the first time in your life. Hey, you're off and running now, man. Welcome to the club. Now you're a man. We take the act away from a kid, not just to tear them apart, to tear them down, to strip them of every human emotion that they have and leave them with nothing. We give them self-confidence and love and meaning and a purpose to his life and a sense of commitment, dedication. You have to give something to everybody that you take something else away from.
And the next time it becomes easier and easier to do the right thing. It's like when...
And I started to cry, and I wanted to hold it back because I wanted to keep up my image. And like, all of a sudden, Art said to me, he said, hey,
This is Libby, a SEED staffer now. But as a newcomer like Barry was confident she could beat the program as she had so many others. Libby was a heavy heroin user when she came in, and in fact had just shot up the day she entered. For her, quitting heroin cold turkey was easier than conning the other kids.
I didn't know why I wanted to or anything else because I had no intentions of getting straight. But I figured, well, you know, the heat was kind of after me up north, and so I decided, well, I'll stay down here. And I thought, well, I could probably find a few connections down here, you know. Because every other drug program that I've been to, everybody was stoned, and I used to sell dope there, and everybody else was selling and buying dope, you know. And everybody was always so dishonest, and it was just like a big joke, you know. And in here, everybody was honest, and they really told you where you were at, you know. And, like, you didn't get away with anything. I got arrested quite a few times, like, you know, at least 10 times, I think. And every time, like, I went before a judge or anything else, I always sweet-talked them out of everything. I never got placed on probation, and I was just a, you know, nice, fast talker. You know, I looked like a little kid, so they weren't going to do nothing to me. But,
when you came here, that's different. You're not just a little kid when you walk into this place. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, when I came in here, they knew, you know, exactly where I was at, what my whole game was, and they just told me, hey, you're full of it, you know.
Is that the magic of the sea, that they can see right through you?
Yeah, you know, it's so funny because they know everything you're going to do, you know, like at least a few days before you're going to do it.
You wouldn't call Lieutenant Alan Richards a recruiter, but the head of the Dade Sheriff's Department Narcotics Squad told Fred Francis he's become just that.
And certainly you become very cynical. I've seen too many people that we have arrested that we've taken before the courts, and they've all claimed that they want to be rehabilitated, that they were sorry for what they have done. And of course the attitude you build up is you see so many of them who are just con artists, that they're looking for sympathy. And yes, I'm a cynic, and I told Art Barker when I first met him that I was a cynic, and I would look at his organization through the eyes of a cynic, which he was willing to accept wholeheartedly.
Now that you've seen it?
The program is tremendous. I can't describe it in any other way. Most of the people that are here, most of the kids are people who have been arrested. I'm probably responsible for many of them being here through myself or the actions of some of my men. And I really feel that they are a sincere group of people that want to straighten their lives out after being wrecked through drugs.
Would you have any reservations about recommending the program to a mother and father who came to you at complete loss?
I would have no qualms on recommending the program to mothers and fathers or judges.
We're here today on Barry on the same arrangement, if such can be negotiated with Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Underwood, have you interviewed Barry?
Yes, Your Honor, I interviewed Barry as you instructed me to. Because the willingness of the...
For the first time in recent Dade criminal court history, the television camera has been allowed inside a courtroom to film these actual proceedings. Instead of going to jail for violating the narcotics laws, this youth is probated to the seed. The judge is Alfonso Seppi.
All right, Mr. and Mrs. Strickland, are you the parents of Barry and Gary?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you familiar with the tenets of the SEED program and the pattern of the program itself?
About a year ago, when I discovered the children were on drugs, after the crushing effect of all that happened, I searched Dade County looking for a solution to the problem. I took them to a rehab center, and it's all I could do because they only take those that voluntarily come in. With the SEED program, I found that they will take them when they are on probation to help them overcome their problems.
Well, I will commit Barry to the SEED program as a term of his probation. And the term of his probation will be that, one of the terms of probation, that he successfully complete the SEED program. However, in order for the SEED to take effect, in order for it to work, this program is primarily based on the